I was on the edge. 3 missed deadlines. 47 unread emails, each one screaming about an overdue task. My boss, it seemed, checked in on me every 2 hours, his look a blend of disappointment and silent threat. My desk looked like a war zone after a tank battle. And my mind? A foggy, broken engine running on fumes. That was me. 2 years ago. Completely broken, overwhelmed, desperately searching for a way out that seemed non-existent. But now? Now I've finished a 6-figure project 3 days early. Launched my side business that brings in passive income. And still found time to train for a half marathon. The change was so dramatic, so unreal, that my coworkers cornered me last week, surrounding me by the water cooler, demanding to know, what the heck happened to you? And how can we get some of that? That's exactly what we're talking about today. Not just ordinary productivity. I'm going to show you how to become an unstoppable force of accomplishment. The kind of force that makes people whisper if you've somehow cracked the code to time itself. But here's the most surprising, perhaps even shocking part: what worked for me was ridiculously simple. No magic app. Number 10-step formulas from books. Just one, brutal, gut-wrenching crash that forced me to rethink everything. It all started in a Starbucks parking lot. I was sitting in my car, sobbing. My laptop was covered in coffee, my brain screaming I was about to be fired. In that rock-bottom moment, I simply had no other choice but to completely reimagine my relationship with time, energy, and priorities. And it was in that very second, as I wiped tears and coffee off the keyboard, I stumbled upon the first, shocking truth. It sounded like this: most productivity advice. It's absolute, complete garbage. Yes, all those wake up at 5 a.m. challenges, the endless morning ritual tips you see on social media, they miss the one single most important thing that makes extraordinary productivity possible. It's not about doing more. It's about doing ruthlessly less. But doing it with laser focus, crystal clear intention, and sniper precision. Let me take you back to that parking lot. As soon as I got a grip, I pulled out a notebook and started writing down every single task, every email, every meeting I had that week. And what I found was horrifying. I had been insanely busy. But I wasn't productive. Nearly 70% of my time was spent on what I now call productivity theater. Tasks that looked important but were a colossal, fat waste of time. I spent hours digging through email that could have taken 10 minutes. Sat in meetings I didn't need to attend. Wrote reports no one would read. I was running in circles. And that's when my first real breakthrough hit: ruthless elimination before optimization. Most people try to optimize their day by squeezing more into it. But the genius question that saved me, and will save you, hundreds of hours is: does this task even need to exist? Now, before anything makes it onto my to-do list, it goes through this steel filter of 3 questions. Does this move me meaningfully toward my most important goal? Is this the highest leverage use of my time right now? If I don't do this, what's the worst that could happen? You will be astounded how many tasks fail this simple test. Cut out the junk. And suddenly you have breathing room, time, energy. But simply clearing out the junk wasn't enough. I got rid of the clutter, but still felt utterly drained. And then came the realization that flipped everything on its head: energy, not time, that is the true currency of productivity. We all have 24 hours, yes, but not all hours are created equal. I started tracking my energy levels throughout the day. And I found a shocking truth: I only had about 4 to 5 hours of peak performance. Not 8, not 10. Just 4 or 5 golden hours where my brain was firing on all cylinders. And that revelation changed everything. Instead of scattering my focus throughout the day, I started protecting those sacred hours like a dragon guards its treasure. For me, it's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. No meetings. No emails. No distracting notifications. Just pure, focused work on tasks that actually move the needle. And guess what? My boss didn't just agree to this experiment, he was thrilled. I explained how this approach would tenfold my output. And in less than 2 weeks, I was producing more high-quality work than I had in the previous 2 months working the old way. But let's be honest. Trying to protect those hours with willpower alone. Trying to fight distractions every single day. That's like trying to run a marathon by holding your breath. Impossible. Unsustainable. And that's when I realized I needed a system. I stopped relying on my weak, fickle willpower and built systems that made productivity the easiest, most obvious choice. I deleted all the glowing rectangles that were eating my time off my phone. Set up website blockers on my computer that turn on automatically. I prepped my workspace the night before so I could sit down in the morning and instantly start working. I batched similar tasks together, minimizing context switching that kills focus. I automated everything I possibly could using simple tools. These systems made productivity effortless. It was like being on a diet where your fridge is full of healthy, pre-prepared meals, versus a fridge packed only with cake and fast food. You just grab what's there. And what's there in my system is productivity. But systems made the work easy. What truly separates merely productive people from unstoppable forces? It's productivity momentum. Most people work in fits and starts. They get going, get distracted, then have to ramp up again. This constant stopping and starting burns a colossal amount of energy and time. I restructured my days to create unbroken chains of completed tasks. Each completed task is a tiny burst of energy that fuels the next one. I use a technique I call task linking. Instead of 3 separate items on a list, write report. Create presentation. Send email, I see it as a single flow. Finish report, immediately pull key points, plug them into presentation. As soon as presentation is done, instantly send the email. This technique creates a psychological state where completing tasks becomes a self-feeding habit. Almost like an addiction, but a healthy one. We talk about the brain, time, energy. But there's something almost no one mentions when they talk about productivity, even though it's the absolute foundation: physical energy. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's energy. Cognitive work is physical work. So I started treating my body like the high-performance machine it is. I experimented with my diet, found a low-carb, high-protein breakfast that killed my mid-morning energy crashes. A 20-minute walk after lunch eliminated the afternoon slump. And I was shocked to discover that 7 hours of quality sleep made me twice as productive as 9 hours of poor sleep. Your body doesn't just carry your brain. Your body is part of your productive system. And here's where we get to the principle that sounds absolutely insane. It's the most counterintuitive tool in my arsenal. And it leads to the brightest creative breakthroughs. Ready? It's strategic incompletion. Most productivity systems tell you, always finish everything you start. I say, sometimes it's much more powerful to intentionally stop when you know exactly what you're doing next. Right in the middle of a sentence. Or when the plan for the next step is crystal clear. Why? Because it activates what psychologists call the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain continues to background process an incomplete task, even when you're not actively thinking about it. It's like putting a problem on low simmer. And when you return to the task the next day, you often find that the solution or the next step has already cooked in your mind. This method has given me some of my most creative ideas and made it effortless to resume work on even complex projects. But all these techniques, all these breakthroughs, would be just a collection of scattered tips without one, final, and most critical principle. The principle that serves as their compass and engine. It's crystal clarity on what truly matters. Supernatural productivity isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things. The right way. At the right time. And to know what the right things are, you need absolute clarity. Every Sunday, I spend 30 minutes on one simple question: what are the 1 to 3 outcomes that will make this week successful, no matter what? This ruthless prioritization is like a laser beam, burning through all doubt, all mental clutter, and all the distracting fluff. Listen, this transformation, from a sobbing guy in a parking lot to someone who crushes deadlines and launches businesses, didn't happen overnight. There were setbacks. There were failures. There were weeks I felt myself sliding back into chaos. But I treated productivity like a scientific experiment: implement, observe, tweak, adapt. And as a result, the past year alone has been a complete game changer. I've completed projects that would have taken 3 years before, all while reducing my workweek from 60+ hours to under 40. And remember my colleague who cornered me? A complete skeptic, she implemented just 2 of these principles. The result? A 40% boost in output, reduced stress, and, her boss noticed. She's now on the list for a promotion that seemed impossible just 6 months ago. Because she stopped being busy. She became unstoppably productive. So here is my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video and think, that's cool. Pick one of these breakthroughs. Just one. And apply it this week. See what happens. Refine your approach. And only then, add the next layer. Implement them, layer by layer. I guarantee you, in less than a month, you will experience such a dramatic shift. People will literally come up to you and beg for your secret. And when they do, just send them this video. Because a world where people focus on truly meaningful work, not just busy work, that's the world I want to live in. If you found this even remotely valuable, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Because next week, I'm revealing something incredibly specific. I'm showing you my exact morning routine that primes my brain for peak productivity from the second I wake up. Including a 5-minute exercise scientifically proven to boost creativity by 60%. You absolutely will not want to miss it. Until then, remember, productivity isn't about doing more things. It's about doing more of the right things. The right way. At the right time. Go out there and become unstoppable.